Welcome to the Heal Your Hunger Show, where we get to the heart of why you overeat and how to stop. If you struggle with food and weight like I did, welcome home. Welcome to the Heal Your Hunger Show. So happy to have you here. Thanks for joining me for another episode. This is going to be a great one because I'm going to talk about my all-time favorite vegetable. I can't get enough of these, and I try to actually limit my intake because I'm an emotional eater. What can I say? I could easily go overboard with this. So the food I want to talk about are Brussels sprouts, and there's just nothing better, but you have to cook them the right way. And that's why I'm so excited about today's show, because I'm going to talk to you about roasted Brussels sprouts. You know, early on in our lives, we probably were served like steamed Brussels sprouts or boiled Brussels sprouts. And they're not very good, right? I mean, they're just kind of like another green vegetable that we have to hold our nose and get through. It had a little bitter taste. It just wasn't very good. And it wasn't until I moved to California that I discovered roasted Brussels sprouts. And oh my goodness, what a difference the roasting and olive oil make in Brussels sprouts, and salt too. It's amazing. They're so good. And they caramelize a little bit in the oven, and boy, oh boy, melt in your mouth. And, nothing like the Brussels sprouts I was served as a kid and Christmas time and Thanksgiving. So this is a great way for you to get some amazing nutrition. And Brussels sprouts are, I think they must be more popular than they ever were. And I think it's on account of this. I think in modern kitchens out in restaurants, they're serving Brussels sprouts more and more as a side dish. And, and because they figured it out too. This is a really yummy way to cook a vegetable that isn't always that popular. And they're very popular once you roast them and put a lot of olive oil. I'm not going to lie to you. The more fat, the better. So I'm going to talk about different fats you can use and different ways you can really make these super yummy. And just add them to either your salads or eat them as a side dish, or hell, make them a meal. Why not? Now, what's amazing about Brussels sprouts is that they actually have a good deal of protein, more so than other vegetables, which is great for vegetarians who want to make sure they get their intake of protein and might be struggling at times to get it, especially if they want to be a paleo vegetarian and not eat grains and starches. So that's what I love, is that they're high in protein. They also are high in vitamin C and vitamin K. They're part of the cruciferous vegetable family, which is great because cruciferous vegetables are amazing for helping to fend off cancer. They just have these amazing properties and health, not only to fend off cancer, but they're supposed to be good for your eyes, good for your bones. So there's a whole range of health benefits from eating Brussels sprouts. But I mean, as an emotional eater, I don't eat them because they're so good for me. I eat them because they're damn good. They taste so good. There's some restaurants close to where I live where I know I can get Brussels sprouts. It's almost like they're my supplier, you know. So I go to Katsuya, which is locally, if anybody's in LA, it's a amazing sushi restaurant, but they they serve a lot of hot food as well, and they have amazing Brussels sprouts. They're almost like just the skins of the Brussels sprouts, the leaves rather, and they're so crispy and yummy. And there's another place where I love to go before I go to a movie, and that is the West Side Tavern by Landmark Theaters. This again for anybody in LA, and they've got amazing Brussels sprouts with prosciutto mixed in. So there's a lot of different ways you can roast these. But the reason why I'm talking about it in conjunction with my or as part of my series for my Trader Joe's products is that Trader Joe's has a packaged roasted Brussels sprouts product that is amazing, and you can get it in the section where the foods are prepackaged, vegetables and different things are prepackaged, and they literally have roasted Brussels sprouts. They've already been cooked, and they're vacuum packed, and they're a great little bunch of Brussels sprouts already cooked that you can literally just stick in the microwave or in the oven and heat up. and boom, they're ready to go. And one of the things that's hard about Brussels sprouts is they take some work. You don't just pop them in your mouth. I mean, you gotta cut the ends off that are rough, this part from where they come, where they're grown from. You have to peel off some leaves so you get to the better part of the Brussels sprout. And frankly, as somebody who likes to make cooking very easy and simple and fast, I can't be bothered. But Trader Joe's makes it easy. They have these great roasted Brussels sprouts. And frankly, I like to roast them further. So they're still a little bit hard. I mean, they're roasted, but and they're soft, but not soft enough for my liking, I guess is what I should say. So I like to put them on a cookie sheet, baking sheet, and sprinkle olive oil on them, maybe cut them in half so they cook through even faster, and put salt and some pepper. You can even sprinkle some balsamic vinegar. And boy, oh boy, you mix that up and put it on a tray, and you roast it at 400 for maybe 10 or 15 minutes, and they will melt in your mouth. Amazing. So I love that easy way to cook them. But you might be more of a cook than I am, in which case you want to make them yourself. And that's a great thing, and much cheaper. Although they're cheap at Trader Joe's, but still much cheaper when you're buying just raw Brussels sprouts at the store. So what you do is, as I said, cut the stems off, pull a few leaves off, cut them in half so they cook better, but you don't have to. If you like the whole one, you just cook it longer. Typically, you cook it at 400 to 450. Somewhere in there, and you experiment. You can put all the Brussels sprouts that are cleaned and the skins are peeled. You can put them in a plastic Ziploc bag with olive oil and salt and pepper and whatever spices you want, and mix it up in the bag so every Brussels sprout is perfectly covered, and then pop them in the oven. Sauces, you can blanch them first and then do a saute. So you don't have to always roast them. You could do a saute. I saw a great recipe online where you blanch them real quick, and then you put them in a pan with butter and fresh ground ginger, and you squeeze an orange, and then put something. They recommended cornstarch, but I don't like to use cornstarch. I usually use arrowroot. Put a little arrowroot in there to thicken the sauce. And oh my goodness, you get a delicious orange ginger sauce for the Brussels sprouts. So there's so many sauces you can use. Balsamic vinegar is a great one. There's just a lot of great things you can do with Brussels sprouts to make them extra delicious. But my favorite way to eat them is after cooking them in the oven as roasted Brussels sprouts. And they're so good. And frankly, I never thought I'd be virtually addicted to Brussels sprouts. I never thought I'd see the day. I've been addicted to a lot of things, usually sugar and carb related, a little alcohol, but never Brussels sprouts. But that's what it's come to for me. By the grace of God, I eat super healthy. And so within my framework of healthy foods, I've found something that I just love. Now, I don't overeat on them by the grace of God, and I don't feel tempted to overeat on them. But I can eat a lot of them. And, if anybody's heard me in the past, I've had a condition called SIBO, and you're not supposed to eat cruciferous vegetables when you have SIBO. And so in the past, they have caused me some bloat, and they will for you as well if you have SIBO or other kinds of gut issues. So that's the drawback to Brussels sprouts is, sometimes they aren't healthy for everyone. And if you have some GI issues, they could bloat you, could cause you some gas and some gurgliness in your tummy. So watch out for that. I love them so much that I eat them anyway. So I don't eat them all the time, but I don't know. Lately, I think the SIBO's gotten better because I haven't had that experience lately. But I found it very hard. From time to time, I will cut out the Brussels sprouts because of the SIBO, and that's a bummer. So, I always tend to go back to eating them once in a while just because they're so delicious. But you gotta, it's all relative, right? I mean, I gotta be grateful that my main obsession is Brussels sprouts. That's a far cry from where I've come. So, thank God for that, frankly. I'd much rather be struggling with a Brussels sprout than I would with a cookie or a bowl of ice cream. So much healthier and not nearly as addictive, meaning it doesn't physically make me addicted like sugar does. But that's my tip for the week is if you can get your hands on some Trader Joe's pre-roasted Brussels sprouts, do it. It'll be excellent. The nice thing is you can have a few packages in your fridge and then bring them out when you want to, and you don't even have to cook them. You can eat them cold. I've had great salads with Brussels sprouts, some goat cheese, and beets, and Trader Joe's actually has cooked beets as well, vacuum packed, that you can put in your fridge. But when you put these prepackaged foods in your fridge, sure, eating raw and cooking everything yourself is always preferred. But as emotional eaters, we need it to be easy so that we have good choices available to us so we don't make bad choices. And I find having some of these packaged vegetables prepared already and ready for slicing and just tossing in a salad so much easier. It makes eating healthy, eating clean, much, much more convenient and easier, which means it happens, right? That way I can stay on track and not get too creative where I'm coming up with ideas that aren't healthy for me. So check it out. If you have a Trader Joe's nearby, definitely pick a few of these up. But if not, don't worry. You can make your own Brussels sprouts. There's a jillion recipes online for roasted Brussels sprouts. Find one that works for you with the ingredients you like and enjoy. Just really, this is a great vegetable that's just waiting to delight your palate and make you healthy at the same time. Okay, that's it for me. Thanks so much for listening. Please share this show with somebody you know would love some easy tricks for eating cleaner. And be sure to leave a review on iTunes. That's a big help. And I appreciate you. Thanks for being here.
If you enjoyed this show and want to get free support, insider health info, exclusive invites to events, and more, visit healyourhunger.com.